Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bed Tech Show. We are your hosts, Ben and Ethan, and we have got some exciting tech news for you here at bedtime. We are going to start with We Robot and Tesla's Cybercab Robo Taxi event that they announced a couple of days ago. And there were some pretty interesting things came about in during this event. Uh, Elon Musk revealed their new prototype of their first fully driverless vehicle at the Robotaxi events, dubbed the Cybercab. And they let some of their guests drive around in Burbank, California. One of the big surprises is that Elon announced that they were going to have fully autonomous vehicles in California and Texas by 2026. And he um, even did announce that he is pretty generous with timelines. So probably maybe in the next decade, we might actually finally see this based off of his full self-driving promise, which is still yet to be fulfilled that we were supposed to have in 2018. Nevertheless, that is beside the point. We've got the robo taxi here, futuristic vehicle, doesn't have any steering wheels, no pedals. It is fully autonomous. It allows you to go into the vehicle, um, go to a destination, and leave. They said that it's going to be about 30 cents per mile, which to operate, which compared to like your normal public transit that ends up being like $1 per mile, this seems to be more of an economical solution to transporting people, and it's going to have inductive charging. So, pretty cool features. Ben, I wanted to get your take. Do you think this event and full self-driving robotaxi is a step in the right direction, or do you think it's too futuristic and too far off from what really needs to happen?
Yeah. I think it's a big leap to go fully autonomous without steering wheel or pedals. I think more people need to adapt to like the Model Y and the Model 3 and the Model S having full self-driving, which I think Elon refers to as FSD. Um, just because I don't think a lot of people trust this full self-driving yet. And if more, I think more people need to adopt it before they're willing to jump in and just like literally hand everything over. Maybe not literally, but figuratively hand everything over to this autonomous vehicle. Um, I know I would be skeptical handing everything over because I think there's very rare situations where it's unique in driving, and I also think there's too many unknown variables that could happen on the road that I don't think a fully autonomous vehicles know how to adapt to, right?
Yeah.
So, like for example, someone who's going the wrong way. Um, I don't know what a fully autonomous vehicle is going to be doing if there's someone coming at you head on, but humans can react to that, whether it's a good reaction or bad, but we can react to it at least.
Mhm.
And sure, that may be few and far between. Is that the right phrase? But that may be really rare. Regardless, I I think humans often think about like the what ifs. What if, what if, what if? And so I think there's going to be a lot of hesitancy in adoption. Um, I'll relate this to VR. I think VR 10 years ago, a lot of people struggled with it because they're like, I don't really get it. I don't really like it. I don't really think it's applicable. How does this make sense? They're not as familiar with it. But over time, people have gotten more and more familiar with it. And now AR, VR makes sense. Self driving is very similar. I think it's still really new for people. Um, so personally, I think it's a step in the right direction, but just too early.
I agree with you on that. I think for me, every vehicle would need to have be fully autonomous before I would be comfortable just being fully autonomous. Because
And in sync. How sick would
yeah,
that be?
Yeah, that would be I mean, I think of like Minority Report,
Yep,
all the vehicles, driving up the side of buildings, everything,
exactly.
that's kind of the level of full autonomy that I would be completely comfortable with. Because you're right, there's too many variables. And I think with driving, it is impossible to try and code every situation that might occur. Because, I think of, my commute to Salt Lake City from Logan. I mean, every day, every time that I do that commute, it there's always something different because we've got construction that changes the lanes all the time, and like you can't plan for that.
Yep,
It's really hard. So I think because of that, because there's too much unknown, it makes it really difficult to to anticipate those type of things. And so
I
I think
agree.
that's kind of what the the drawback or the hindrance to a full autonomy is being able to anticipate everything.
Yeah, I agree. I also was thinking of like breakdowns and maintenance and all of these special circumstances that aren't day to day, but they do happen. How do you handle that if you can't take control of the vehicle, right? Like, and if I do come across construction that's really confusing, is my vehicle just going to stop in the middle of the road and
I
not
know.
go anywhere? Like, you can't control it. That's what bugs me is at least with the Model Y and the Model 3, you can like cancel the full self-driving and take control of the wheel.
Mhm.
Um, so this coming in a couple years, so Elon says, I just have a really difficult time believing that people are gonna jump on it. Even though the price point is pretty appealing, 30K.
Yeah.
That's what he said. That's pretty incredible to have a uh new technology, especially in like automobile at that price point. That's pretty impressive. Um, yeah, I don't know. What do you think about the look of the vehicle?
The look of it's okay. It's not my favorite, but
Yeah,
you know, seeing how seeing Cybertrucks in the wild now, it's kind of like I could I'm almost used to anything at this point.
yeah,
So uh, it's not as polarizing to me as it probably would have been had we not had the Cybertruck.
yeah.
I think I'm okay with it. What's your take on it?
Nah, that's a really good take. I kind of agree with it. I was thinking this resembles the Cybertruck in a lot of ways, but it's not as extreme as the Cybertruck. It's kind of like an in between of what we currently have from Tesla and the
Hmm.
Cybertruck. Um, and I think Elon said in the presentation, like, we're building the future, so let's make it look like the future, something like
Yeah.
that. And he really is trying to do that, which is interesting. I don't like the covered wheels. I think the rear
Yeah,
wheels were
that
covered. I
looks
don't
a
like
little
that.
weird. I've never been a fan of that, but
Yeah. It reminds me of like the really old Prius, you know?
yes.
It's so ugly. Like I can't stand it.
I mean, that's something you drive in the Whole Foods parking lot.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see. Like me, I'm not like for most technology, I'm not an early adopter. I'm very much like a wait it out and see what it looks like and see what happens. Um, so
Yeah.
what about the Robovan as
Oh,
Elon calls it?
I think that looks extremely futuristic to me.
Yeah,
I mean, that looks like something straight out of iRobot.
yeah,
And I think it's cool. I would not I would be so surprised seeing that driving around the area. I mean, that to me that's really polarizing.
yeah. I agree. It's pretty impressive that like how many people it can fit. I think he said
I don't
20
know, 20
people.
people. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, I think that's cool. I mean, I'd love to see that driving around the city. I I think this gets at a lot of the problems that we have for public transportation. I don't know that we're ready for it yet. I mean, I would love to have one of these cyber cabs that I could just say, "Hey kids, you go to school and then take him to school and I don't have to do anything, drops him off and comes back home. But I wouldn't trust my kids in that alone.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. They had like a video showing one of the vehicles picking up the kids from school, and I was like, I don't think I'd do that. That just seems a little sketchy to me.
Yeah. But the concept is awesome.
Agreed.
Like that, the theory behind that is something that I can get behind.
Yeah, I agree. And I think there are a lot of cities around America and even in international cities where there's dedicated bus lanes. And if you replace the buses with these robo vans, like multiple robo vans, and then each bus stop had like a charging pad where it could just charge as people are loading and unloading.
Mhm.
I think that would be really cool because there's a lot of um there's a lot of like X factors that are taken out if it's just a dedicated public transportation lane, right?
Mhm.
Like no one there's a city down south from where I am where there's a dedicated public transport bus lane, and I think it's a bus, maybe it's like a line tram actually, but no one drives in it, and so it's its own dedicated lane. And so like if you replace that with the robovan, it it's a lot more controlled space is what I'm saying, and so it'd
Yeah.
be easier to adopt than I think the robo taxi. And I think that's probably the first step that I would go if I was Elon in trying to get people to adopt.
Mhm.
So, but I think it's really cool how you just hop in. It looks really futuristic. It's really clean and smooth, and seems like it's pretty affordable.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the Optimus robot?
I think I have mixed feelings about this, bro. I have really mixed feelings about this. Like somewhat influenced by the movie iRobot, but also just because like I I think of other movies that portray futuristic aspects of the world. I think of like Wall-E and the people who are just like sitting in those on like the space cruise ship, and they're
Mm.
sitting in their chairs and they're big and fat and their bones have like deteriorated over time because of evolution. I guess de-evolution. Um, because they've gotten lazy and they don't have to do hard work and they don't have to do any labor. And the introduction of this robot, the Optimus robot, I'm like, my son saw the video and he's like, oh, we could have that thing do all the chores, all the cleaning, we could just sit and watch TV. And I immediately thought, like, we're just becoming lazy species. That's what we're becoming. So I think, like, for relief of me and my wife, it would be awesome to have one.
Mhm.
But in hindsight, I think struggle is really good for humans, for our mental, our physical, and our emotional. Like being able to overcome challenges and be challenged to do things and having responsibility on a regular basis. If we take that away, I I don't know. I feel like we just become so lazy, bro.
Yeah.
So I have mixed feelings about it. What are your thoughts?
I agree. I think I mean it's kind of cool what they showed it doing. I mean, there was the video of it doing like normal human tasks, like
Hmm.
bring packages from a porch and watering plants. And I love the concept of it being able to like do monotonous things that I don't want to do.
Yeah.
But to your point, like, we have to struggle to be our struggle is what's made us try and invent stuff like this. And without that struggle, what are we going to invent? It, we become pretty stagnant. And so when it comes to like taking too much of the struggle away, then I kind of have a problem with that. And if we have too many of these walking around, you know, I don't know what's going to be left.
Yeah. I can see it as like I can see it as people making the argument that the Optimus robot could come in as like your personal butler and
Mhm.
just do all the things that maybe not necessarily like replace all of your chores and responsibilities, but do the things that you normally would hire out someone else to do, right? And you could essentially have your own personal butler and get you stuff. Where and then you could focus your time and energy on your passions and pursuing like working hard on your passions. That's like the counter argument that's in my head, but I feel like that's still a stretch for
Yeah.
justification, you know?
I,
So,
I would love, I had a team of these and they could do all the trades for building a house. That would be really cool. And then I wouldn't have to pay so
ooh,
much to build a house.
yeah. Yep, I agree. Combine that with like the 3D printing aspect of like a
Uh-huh.
house, you know, and that would be pretty sick, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I was watching an interview with one of the famous YouTubers. He does like car reviews and phone reviews, and he's really tall, black guy. I can't remember his name.
Uh,
But
yes,
he's
Brownlee,
what's that?
MKBHD.
Yes. Yep, MKBHD, yeah. So I was watching a video of him talking about the event We Robot, and he was like talking about why is it humanoid? Like, are we trying to push this persona like it's a human that it can become our friend? And because I think Elon even mentioned you could have it babysit your kids, you could have it be your friend, whatever you want. And the question is like, do I want that? So, what are your thoughts around that? Do you think the design is like too human-like? Do you think it's no big deal?
I think it's too human-like, but I understand why they did that. If it wasn't, it would be harder for people to adopt it.
Mm,
And so I think the fact that they made it more human-like, it makes it easier for our our conscious or subconscious to be able to connect with it and
hmm.
find it acceptable.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a really good point. It's because it's familiar, our
Mm-hmm.
subconscious like is open more to it. Yeah.
Because like just looking at the iRobot movie from decades ago at this point now, I
Yeah.
feel really old now. But I mean, like the first iteration that they had, it wasn't very human-like, but as it evolved, it got to that more human-like robot.
Yeah, with like eyes and nose and different
Yeah.
peripherals.
And had and I think like at that point there was a wider human adoption. A lot of society was ready to accept that.
Mm.
So I think, with this, it makes it a little bit easier for people to accept it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Did you watch videos of people interacting with Optimus?
Yeah. I saw that and it was pretty interesting to see. And I even know that Marquez Brownlee, like in a video he actually had quite a few of these in his studio, like doing stuff. So like he's actually had some interactions with these
Oh,
humanoid.
really?
Yeah. And I don't think like a video has been posted on that yet,
Uh-huh.
or if there is going to be one, but I'm pretty sure that he has had some interaction with these and like they've been doing stuff around his studio
Mm.
that he has in New York.
Interesting. The interaction that I saw, the robots were responding like really fast and they had like different accents and they had different like innotate like I don't know if you call it innotation. What do you call it? Which is like influxes of your voice,
Inflections.
inflections, yeah. But it made it seem like it was almost too quick of
Uh-huh.
responses where I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's just a dude behind the camera, like in a VR suit, controlling the robot and then responding via mic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I was watching a few times. I'm like, there's no way, like OpenAI's chat. I use OpenAI's chat feature where I'm like talking to Chat GPT and it's talking back. And even that is
There's still a
slower
delay.
and much more robotic. Yeah.
Mhm.
And in my mind, I'm like, why why are all these Optimus robots at the event have different accents and they speak differently and they speak very fast in response and very smooth in response and like for example uh one guy asked the robot like, "Oh, what kind of cookies do you have here?" And it was an Optimus behind a cookie like bench. And he's like, "Oh, the robot's like, "Yeah, I have strawberry, chocolate, and vanilla." And the guy's like, "Oh, can I take a chocolate?" And the robot's like, "Yeah, sure thing." He picked it up, he gave it to him, and the thing got hooked on its thumb, like the chocolate bag, the cookie bag got hooked on the robot's thumb. And the guy was like, "Oh, and the robot was like, "Oh yeah, sorry, very human-like, very human-like in the moment at the exact same time."
Right.
And I thought to myself like, this could be one of like another Amazon situation where they say it's AI, but in reality, it's just like people
People.
looking at cameras and just talking through a mic, you know?
Right. Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
I, I kind of got that sense too. I mean, when they first announced the Optimus product, it was just somebody in a bodysuit. And so I'm like, if you're gonna announce something, do the real thing.
Yeah,
Show us the limitations so we know what it's like, but have some idea of where it's gonna go.
yeah, yep, exactly. Like, what's the reality of it? Not future.
Because yeah, if they're gonna cheat it, we're gonna expect that once this comes out, and it's not gonna be near that good unless this
Yeah,
comes out in 10 years.
yeah. And even then,
Yeah, who knows?
who knows? If you were to adopt one of those products, which one would you adopt?
I think probably the cyber cab would be the one that I would be first to adopt. If it,
Cybercab. Okay,
yeah, I,
cool.
I really like the concept of that. I love the idea of being able to take a nap or, relax going to a destination type of thing. I like that. I don't know how comfortable I'd be with that, but that would probably be the first one that I would adopt. What about you?
I think initially my thoughts were like the Robo van, just because it's bigger.
Hmm.
And that way, like, I could just carpool with a bunch of people and be like, yeah, I can drive, like, no big deal. Whether I'm going to like a golf event or I don't know, playing on a sports team or my kids and family, we could just hang out inside the Robovan. You could like bring a bunch of stuff in there, like a sleeping bag or pillows or whatever, lay down. It'd be kind of cool. Um, but I'm like, a part of me is actually kind of thinking about the Optimus. My wife would love that. I'd be like, all right, Optimus, go fold our clothes. My wife would love that.
Oh yeah, I would love that too. I mean, that is the worst part of laundry is the
Yeah,
folding and putting
it's
away.
brutal. It's brutal. Like, or like doing the dishes. Like,
Uh-huh.
just go do the dishes. So those aspects, there is an appeal there for me. Did they talk about battery life for like Optimus or anything like that?
I don't think they did. I
I
don't
didn't hear
remember.
anything about that. I wonder how long it would last. It's got to be at least a day.
It has to be
It's got to
because
be at least a day. Like, it's got to last a day. If they don't know, or if they haven't figured out yet, they haven't announced it yet, it has to be at least a day in order to make it like consumer friendly.
yeah,
And then at night when you go to sleep, it goes and charges, goes and stands up on the wall.
because yeah, you wouldn't want that thing walking around the house doing whatever while you're asleep.
Dude, that would be freaky. That would be so freaky, wouldn't it?
Uh-huh.
Oh, can you imagine having like three of them standing guard?
That'd be
It's like,
that'd be kind of cool. Like if they had sentry mode and
yeah,
yeah,
like they like go sentry mode and then everything in your house is dark and you just see this red like breathing light coming from like the face mask and
hmm
they're just like standing next to the doors and the windows. It's like, whoa, whoa. And then something happens, break in or something. They just go like red beam light,
yeah,
like focus in on the intruder.
yeah,
Would that be crazy?
that would be.
Uh, that would actually be kind of cool.
So yeah, I mean, I think they would be cool. I don't know if I would be comfortable having that in my house with kids though.
Yeah. It would be kind of creepy though, like waking up in the middle of the night and just hearing the robot moving around, like
Mm.
walking up your stairs, doing stuff. Like, dude, what the freak are you doing, man?
I know. It's creepy enough when my kids come or my daughter comes into my bedroom and just stands there right at my face, waiting for me to wake up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
That
um,
that would be really freaky waking up and seeing just like a robot hovering you. You're like, whoa, what are you doing, Optimus? Your breathing was low. I was checking in on you. I don't know about that.
yeah, Like
you know?
I'm fine. You
Yeah.
you go be.
Yeah. Go to sleep, you know? Like and we have like home technology. We use the Amazon's like home technology devices, and those trip up all the time, dude.
Oh,
All
all
the
the
time.
time. Yeah. I mean, and now they're in cars, and so like we have it in our car, and so sometimes like just having a normal conversation it kicks on. And I'm like, I we didn't, yeah, we weren't talking to you.
Yeah. Like, please shut up.
Yeah. So I mean, it's helpful, but sometimes it's technology is more of a hindrance than
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, I agree. I think having something robotic and autonomous like that has so much capability, it's a little too intimate being in my house.
Yes.
You know what I mean? At the grocery store or at like in a amusement park or at a regular park or in a public space, fine.
Hmm.
But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I feel like there's too much risk.
Yeah. I don't know that I'm willing to give up more of my privacy for that convenience. I've given
Yeah,
up enough.
for sure. Yeah, what is that thing watching, you know?
Everything.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to flick a booger.
Yeah, exactly. They
So,
so much data.
which might be good for my kids because then I would know that it was them.
Yeah, that's true. Be like, all right, play it back. Play back the clip, Optimus.
Yes.
Show me what happened.
So,
Yeah. Pretty interesting event though. I think like overall, I think this is one of the I expect innovation from companies like this, like Tesla, and Tesla is really trying to push the books to get to the future. I don't like Apple's event happened what last month. I don't feel like we saw any kind of innovation like this.
no, nothing.
And yeah, so it's refreshing to see a company that's pushing the book and pushing the boundary. And yeah, there's going to be criticism because it's new. It's all new. This is all beyond our realm of like our current understanding. And so it's cool to see that. It's refreshing to see that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm glad with everything that they revealed. It, to what you said, it is very refreshing. It's very innovative. Something we've I think we've had fewer innovations that I've been aware of this year than we have in the past. So it's nice to see companies coming out with new stuff like Meta coming out with their Orion glasses that make you look like a minion because they're thick. Never that aside, it's refreshing to see these new innovations. So I'm excited for what the future is going to bring and what new technologies will come of this. Hopefully, other companies will follow suit and continue to innovate.
On that note, a quick question. You know how Tesla, like, didn't they reveal their or release publicly their was it blueprints or it was their patents, I think.
Patents, yeah.
Do you think they'll do something similar with this technology so that other people or other companies can build their own fully autonomous vehicles and make it similar to Minority Report? I would at least expect uh that would exponentially increase the progression towards like a Minority Report situation, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I was really surprised when they open sourced all of their patents for that. Because
Me
usually,
too.
like when a company does a patent, it's like this is our trade secret. We don't want anyone to have it. And if you use it, we're going to make you pay for it,
Yeah.
type of thing. So, I was really surprised at that. I, based off of that, I think they will, and I think this will allow companies to increase their R&D and make similar products so that there's a wide variety of competition and we have additional product offerings. And hopefully it'll keep Tesla products on the low side so that they'll be more consumer friendly.
Yep. I agree.
That
It'd be
that
it'd be cool if they did that.
yeah. I think that's the reason why the new PS5 Pro is so expensive because
Dude,
Xbox
what
didn't
what
release.
what what is that? What is that? $700 for
Yeah,
better shadowing?
yeah.
What is going on, dude? That's insane.
And I'm pretty sure the only reason that it's so expensive is because Xbox didn't come out with an Xbox Pro.
Yeah, there's no competition to drive the prices lower.
Yeah. And I mean, candidly, Xbox made a great product. It's still great today. So they didn't need to.
I agree. I agree. It's uh I don't really feel like I'd be pushed too hard to upgrade to a new system if I saw one come out.
Yeah.
I'd rather wait another 5 years until there's significant improvement to the systems. I don't want a slightly small upgrade for $700.
I
That's
know.
wild, dude.
But with NVIDIA's graphics cards coming out, hopefully this next year, there's going to be some wild, wild improvements. It'll be a whole new generation.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited. I'm excited for Halo going Unreal Engine 5. That's pretty
Oh, yeah.
cool.
That'll be cool.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we get the next Halo iteration that comes out will be fully baked instead of half baked with zero player base.
Yes. Fingers crossed.
Fingers
So,
crossed. Well, if you have your fingers crossed and are excited for tech news, please make sure you give us a thumbs up. That really does help out our channel and helps out the algorithm. If you didn't like it, that other button seems to do all right as well. Please send this video to somebody you dislike. As always, ringling that dingling button so you never miss out on any content that's being posted on the channel. Until next time, stay classy and have a great evening.
peace.